My name is Supriya, and I welcome you all to the third session of this DSA series conducted by GFG LPU. So, guys, still other students are joining. Please let me know that you all are from which year. Diploma third year, Sabrina second. Okay, second. Yeah. Second year, fine. Third, Aditya, fourth, okay, all right. So mostly students are from second year, I can see. And I can see a lots of new members as well today. So to all the new members who don't know about these DSA sessions conducted by GFG LPU, so, guys, we the members of GFG LPU are conducting the DSA series on every Sunday. It's of 2 hours only, and we have started from scratch, and we'll be covering all the important and basic topics in these sessions. And we have conducted it on Sunday so that you don't have to do extra effort to take out your time from your main schedule. So that's why we have conducted it on Sunday. So if you have not watched the previous sessions, because the previous session was based on arrays, so we have uploaded it on YouTube as well. So the link has already been shared in the Telegram group. You can check it out there, and you can watch all those previous sessions. And we have given you some questions also regarding the topics we have discussed, and we told you to drop your doubts and solve those questions and drop your doubts in the Telegram group, but I can see that none of you have dropped your doubts. So I think you have solved all the problems, and that was the easy one. But yeah, if at the last, if I'll get time, then I'll definitely try to solve those questions. I think 29 members have joined. Let's wait for 2 more minutes. We'll start from 11:05. Okay? Can you please share the link here? Which link, Rohit? Which link you are talking about, Rohit?
The last sessions which were conducted, that you
Okay.
told that you uploaded.
Have you joined our Telegram group?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I request someone from the technical group to please share the Telegram group link here so that the students can join. Because all the necessary and important announcements or anything is shared there only. Okay, and the YouTube link has already been shared there. All right, so Telegram link has been given. You can join. Those who have not joined yet, and guys, one thing, like Telegram group is like open to all. Okay, so you can interact there and you can post your doubts there. And not only we the members of GFG LPU, any student like who is willing to answer or who is willing to clear anyone's doubt, they are most welcome. They can come and they can share their solutions so that we all can learn and grow together, right? All right, everyone. It's 11:05 already. Okay, let's start today's session. So in the previous session, we have discussed about arrays, the basic operations in arrays. We have seen some questions based on arrays, like basic operations. So today we'll be moving forward and starting with the searching and sorting algorithm, which is very basic algorithms, which we need to know. Okay, so let's start with the searching algorithm first. Let me share my screen. Is my screen visible, everyone? Do let me know in the comment box.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So, guys, we'll start with the linear search very first. Okay. So, what is searching means in an array, right? Searching means to find or search an element. Okay, you will be given an element and you will be asked to search that element in the array, or you will be asked to say that okay, return the index of that element where it is present in the array. Okay. So the very first thing, the very first algorithm that hits in our mind is linear search. Okay. So what is linear search? We'll see today. Like suppose this is an array. Okay. I have taken this array. Hide it. Okay. So I have taken this array. I have already prepared it. Let's say this is A, and suppose we have some elements in it like 4, 10, 2, 24. I'm taking any random elements, right? 18. Okay. So now the question is that if I'm saying you to like search 2 in this array, okay. So what we'll do, the very first approach is linear search, okay. Linear search means you are, logic is very simple, like in an array, you are traversing the array one by one, okay. You are traversing the whole array and you are checking each element of the array and you are checking that whether this element is equal to the element to be searched or not. Okay, like we have to search 2 in it. So we'll start from the very first element and we'll see that whether 4 is equal to 2. No, 4 is not equal to 2, right? So we'll move further. Okay, now we'll see for 10. So 10 is equal to 2. No, 10 is also not equal to 2. So we'll again move further in the array. Now we'll see that is 2 is equal to 2. Yes, 2 is equal to 2. That means we have found the element and will return true. That yes, we have found the element. Okay. So this is the simple logic. So what we do, I repeat, we start from the first element in the array and we search each element one by one that whether it is equal to the element to be searched or not. If it is equal, then we'll return. And if we have reached the end of the array, right? If like suppose if I have to search 5 in this array, 5 is not present as we can see. So what we'll do, we'll move further. 24 not equal to 5, 2 is also not equal to 5, 18 is also not equal to 5. So there will be one point where we have reached the end of the array. So what we'll do, we'll return false. No, that element is not present in the array at all. Okay. So this is the simple funda, simple logic behind linear search. With like you know basic operation, you know how to iterate the for loop. So just we have to traverse the array, and for that we'll be using one for loop. Okay, one for loop that will be iterating from the very first element, that will be going from 0 to n. Okay, let's suppose the size of the array is n, so we'll be traversing from 0 to n. Okay, and now we'll be checking like let me use like note here. Okay, that would be easy to understand. Okay, so we are going in the for loop and for each we are checking that whether if array of I, okay, is equal to x is the element to be searched. Okay, so we are checking that if array of I is equal to x, if it is equal to x, then we'll return true. Okay, otherwise we'll traverse the array, and if we have traversed the whole array and we have reached the end of the array, then it means that it has not returned true. It means that the element is not present in the array at all. So we'll return false. Okay. So this is the simple funda. This is the simple thing, simple code of linear search. Let me show you in my editor. Okay. So is my editor visible, Saket or anyone? Let me confirm.
Yes,
Yes,
your editor is
Supriya,
visible.
visible.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So let me code it. Right. Linear search is very easy. You know, linear search is also called sequential search, as the like word signifies that. What does it mean? Okay, it's a linear search. We are just traversing the array and we are just trying to find the element. Okay, let me code it, like how we can do this if someone is having problem in doing the coding and all. So let's suppose I am taking an array. Okay, and the array elements are like what we have taken. Let's take the same element. Okay, 4, 10 to 24, 18. Okay, so I am taking 4, 10 to 24 and 18. Okay, I have taken the array, and now let's int n is equal to, I am doing like I'm taking a variable n where I am storing the size of this array. Okay, size is 5. Okay, now I'm saying that okay, I have to search. Let's take an element. You can take user input also, but I'm just taking it by myself. Okay, int x is equal to, let's suppose I have to search 2 here. So I have taken x2. Now what I have told you, that we just have to take a for loop. We'll traverse through the whole array and we'll try to check that if array of I, that is that array of each, like this, each element, we'll try to check that is it equal to x. If it is equal to x, then we'll it will be see out. Okay, then we'll see out, yes, element is present. Okay, this element is present. It's a very simple code. I hope it's clear to everyone. So this is a very simple code, right? And also will break also. Okay, if we have found the element, you can traverse the whole array, but what is the need to traverse the rest elements if we have found the array at some position, right? If we have found here 2, then what is the need to go beyond that? But I think break is clear to all. Okay, so I'm using break. If I have found the element, then I'll break from, I'll break means I'll come out of this for loop. Okay, no need to traverse the rest of the elements. Okay, because we have found the element. Okay, so let's run this code and let's execute it. Let's see what is happening. I'm searching, I'm trying to search 2 in it. Taking time. Okay, just see the output. You can see the output that yes, element is present. Okay, and now what if I am trying to search 20 in it? Okay, as 20 is not present in this array, so I'm trying to search 20 in this array. So what will happen? Let's see. There is no output on my screen. Why? Because I have not used, like, if the element is present, then I'm saying that yes, element is present. See out that element is present. Okay, but what if the element is, like, what if you have traversed the whole array and the element is not present? Okay, so for that you can make this code like more interesting. Like you can set a variable, like suppose I'm setting a variable or I'm setting a bool variable. Okay, bool, and I'm setting that is present. I am setting it at is present. I'm taking the name of this variable as present and I'm setting it as false. Okay, initially I'm assuming that the element is not present. I'm saying that bool is present is equal to false. Bool means it returns type, return type will be true or false, right? Bool means true or false. So I'm storing false in it. Okay, and when I have found the element, then I'll say that, then I'll do the is present is equal to true. Okay, What I'm doing, I'm initializing the is present as false, and when we have found the element, then what we'll do is present is equal to true, okay, and uh, we'll comment it out, okay, we'll not print this statement here. Now when we have traversed the whole array, okay, now we'll check that if is present. Now we'll check that if is present, that mistake, spelling mistake here. So if is present, so is present means if is present is true, okay, then only this code will execute. Then I'll say that cout present, okay. And then is used for doing the next line, and else means is present is false, means this statement has not been executed, means the element has not found at all, okay, means this code has not been executed. If the element was found and if this code was executed, then this is present will be true here, right? But it means that the element, we have traversed the array and element is not found, so we'll simply see out that not present, not present, okay. Now let's see what is the output. Okay, okay. I have done a spelling mistake here. And what I was trying to search, I was trying to search 20. Okay, 20 was not present in the array, so that's why we have got the output as not present. Okay. So this was the code of the linear search, which was very easy, right? We just have to use one for loop, and we just have to check that element is present or not. Okay. So this was all about linear search. I think it's clear, right? Guys, let me know in the comment box if the code is clear and the concept is clear. All right, clear. It should be clear because it was quite easy, right? It was quite easy. Okay. So this was all about linear search. So, and linear search, because we are traversing the whole array, so that's why it will take O of n time complexity. Okay, all right. Time complexity and space complexities are not discussed with you guys. So we'll not be, discussing about the time complexities here. Okay, let's move forward and start with the binary search, okay? Because we have, when we talk about searching algorithms now, the two major algorithms, that is linear search and binary search, is majorly used, okay? So we have seen linear search, now we'll see that what is binary search, okay? So what is the logic, what is the funda behind binary search, and why binary search, when there is linear search already, then what is the need of using the binary search? So firstly, let me tell you that what is the logic used in binary search. Okay, like suppose I'm taking the same array. Okay, what I have taken, I'm taking the same array. Oh, sorry guys, you'll excuse my drawing. Okay, so I'm taking the same array, and now I'll try to search the same element, but by using different algorithm, that is binary search. So we what was the elements? 4, 2, 10. You can take anything. I'm just taking any random numbers. 24, 18. Okay, it's 18. Okay. So what I'm trying to search now. Let's suppose that I have to search here 24. Okay. Let's suppose I have to search here 24. So now what is the logic? Okay. So what we do in binary search, that we set two pointers, right? So we start from one pointer is set to the first element. Like this is the indexing, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So this is the indexes of the array elements, and let's suppose this is ARR. This is my array. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll set two pointers, right? First pointer will be set to the very first index, that is 0 element. Let's name it as low. Okay, I am keeping its name as low. Low because it's at lower index, and I am keeping one pointer at high index. Okay, let's keep its name as high. Okay, that is I am setting two pointers, right? First pointer, I am pointing towards the, this is not a pointer, okay? Pointer here, it means that I am taking a variable which is pointing to a specific index, right? That's why I'm using pointer word here. Pointer is not that pointer here. So low pointer is pointing towards the 0th index, and high pointer is pointed towards the very last index. That is, if n is equal to 5 here, then high will be pointing towards the n minus 1 index. Okay. So now what I am doing, that I am finding a mid of this low and high. Okay. What I am trying to find? Mid. Okay. I am trying to find the mid index. Mid is equal to, what I'm doing, I'm trying to find the mid. Mid will be what? Low plus high divided by 2. Okay, that is 0 plus 4. That is 4 divided by 2. Low plus high divided by 2. That is 4 by 2. That is 2. Okay. So what I'm trying, I have low, I have high pointer. Okay. I am trying to find mid. I have found mid. I got it as 2. Okay. So now my mid is pointing to the second index. Okay, as my mid is 2, so my mid will be pointing towards the second index. Okay, now I'll search, I'll check a condition that whether the array of mid, that is this array of second, is equal to the element to be searched, that is x. I'll try to find that if let me write the logic here. Okay, what I'm trying to search, that I have found the mid. Okay, I have found the mid is equal to low plus high by 2. Okay, I have found it, and now what I am trying to check, that if array of mid, is it equal to x? Okay, if it is equal to x, then what I'll do, if array of mid is equal to x, then we'll return true, right? That yes, element, we have found the element, right? But what if we have, like, it's possible now, because the binary search, the condition is that the array should be sorted. Okay, array should be sorted in the binary search. Okay, I'm so sorry guys, I just forgot to tell you the most important point about binary search, that array should be sorted in binary search. Okay, because if the array would not be sorted, then there would be no point to use binary search. So whenever you are using whenever you are trying to use binary search, trying to implement the binary search in your question, your array should be sorted. Like here, we have not taken the sorted array, right? So here, if we have found the mid, okay, so we have to check the condition that if the mid element, if the element present at the mid index is greater than x, or is it less than x? Okay, if it is greater than x, then what is the, if this mid element is greater than x, then what is the point to search? Then what is the point to search in the right part of this mid element? Okay, like suppose if my array was like this, 2, 4, 10, 18 and 24. Now it is sorted, right? And now my mid element is 10. Now my mid element is 10. So what is the point if my x is 24, x is 24, so if my mid is 10, so we'll check a condition that if 24 and 10, what is the relation between this 10 and 24? If 10 is less than 24, right? If 10 is already less than 24, then just tell me that what is the point to search in the left part of this of this mid element. Okay, because since this array is sorted, so on the left part there will be elements which is already less than 10, right? So there is no point to search on the left part. So we'll simply move towards the right part only. Okay. And again, we'll do the same thing. We'll point low here. We will be pointing low here and high here, high to the same position. Don't worry, I'll write the pseudocode again. Okay. So low and high again. Again, we'll find the mid. Again, we'll check the condition, and that's how we come to the solution. Okay. If it is present, then we'll return yes present. If it is not present, then it will say that no, it is not present. Okay. So this is the idea. Okay. That array is sorted. We are just finding the mid element, and we are seeing that whether it is equal to the element to be searched, or greater than element to be searched, or less than element to be searched. Okay. If it is greater, then we'll search in the left part. If it is less than, then we'll search in the right part, like, and so on. Okay. So you have understood the logic, right? Now let me write a clear pseudocode for it. Okay, so that you guys won't confuse. Okay, let me write a clear pseudocode here. Okay, so what I'm doing, I have pointed low here, I have pointed high here. Okay, now I'll traverse a loop, right? I'll do a while condition, that while low is less than equal to high. Why? Because we are one second, high. Okay, so why? Because low is moving towards the left and high is moving towards the right. Okay, so we'll check the condition when low is less than equal to high. Okay, we'll not check the condition when low is greater than high. Okay, that high is pointing somewhere here and low is pointing somewhere here. Okay, we'll not check that condition. Okay, all right, so what we do, so we'll check that condition. What we are doing, we are finding int mid is equal to low plus high divided by 2. Guys, if you are having any doubt in this, you can till then you can ask in the comment section. Okay, so what we'll do, we have found mid. Now what we are doing, we are checking the condition. Okay, that if array of mid, we are checking the condition that if array of mid is it greater than x. Okay, if it is greater than x, then what we'll do, if it is greater than x, then just tell me that what is the point to search in the right part, because the right part will be like the elements in the right part of this mid will like greater than this mid element now. So no need to search in the right part. Okay, we'll search in the left part. So what we'll do, our low is already pointing to 0, and what we'll do, I'll do my high as mid minus 1. Okay, I'm just changing the pointers, right? I'm just changing the pointers. Now what I'll do else is, I'm checking that if my array of mid is less than x. Okay, I'm checking the condition that if array of mid is less than x, then what I'll do? Tell me, guys. Okay,
Mid
what I'll
plus
do?
one.
I'll what? Repeat?
Low equals to mid plus one.
Yeah, right. Low is equal to mid plus 1. Okay, very good. So what I'm doing, I am just doing low as mid plus 1. Okay, and what my else condition will be, if these two conditions are not working, it means that we have found the element, so we'll return simply true. Okay, return true, or else what the cout statement we want to give, right? And if we have traversed the whole array and we have not found the element, then we'll return true. So this is the pseudo code. This is the whole pseudo code. So let's see it on code, right? I think it's clear now, right? Right. Oh, I'm so sorry. I was not checking the comments. Time complexity is often. Yes, Mansi, you're right. For sort your array, right. Sort your array, focus one. Okay. All right. So I think it's clear. Let's quickly see the code for it. Just quickly see the code for it. Let me, or else let me write it. Okay. Now I'm in my main. What I'll do, I am taking an array. You can take user input. It's up to you. I'm taking an array. I'm taking the sorted array. It's 2, 10, 30, 40, 50, anything. Okay. Here n is equal to 5. Okay. And n is equal to 5. Now what I'm doing, I'm creating a variable int low is equal to 0 that will be pointing to the first element and first index, and now I'm creating a high which will be pointing towards to the last index, that is n minus 1. Okay, and let's write in main function, or like let's create a, or else write in main only. Do not create a function. Okay, so what I'm doing, while I have told you that what will be the my condition to check that while low is less than equal to high. Okay, I'll not check for when low becomes greater than high. Okay, what I'm doing, while low is less than equal to high, guys, see here that I have taken the sorted array. Okay, but in the questions, if you are given an array any randomly and you are using binary search, then make sure to sort it before. Okay, we'll see the sorting algorithms later after this binary search, and I'll tell you the shortcut also, that how you can sort in like very efficient manner in C++ without writing any algorithms and all. Okay, so what I'm doing, I am doing int mid is equal to low.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Okay, I think this low should be array of 0 or it should be 0, index 0.
No, I am taking indexing here. Okay, this is 0, right? I told you now that.
Okay, we don't have to take the values. We have to take the indexes.
We are just pointing towards the index, right?
Okay,
because we'll be searching, because here in the if condition, I am using that index, right? Here in the if condition.
Yeah, I got it now.
Okay. So while low is less than equal to high, what I'll do, I'll search mid, right? Every time I'll be searching mid, and what is the formula of mid? You can use that high plus low upon 2, or you can use this formula, low plus high minus low. You know why we use this formula? We use this formula to prevent from the integer overflowing. Okay, I like in the very first video I told you about the integer overflow and the errors we got. So just check out those videos. We'll get to know that what is integer overflow, what is overflow. Okay, so now what I'm checking, that if array of mid, that we have found a mid index, right? So what we'll see, if array of mid is greater than x. Okay, if array of mid is greater than x, that means that mid element is already greater than x, then the element to the right of it will already be will always be greater than x only, na? So we don't need to check in the right part. We'll check. We don't need to check in the right part. We'll check in the left part only. And for left part, what we'll do? We'll simply do high is equal to mid minus 1. Okay, because low is already pointing towards 0, right? Else, if what we'll do, that if array of mid is less than x. Okay, less than x means we are mid plus 1, right? We are searching in the right part. And else what we'll do, else we'll see out what, anything, like we'll see out element found. Okay, I think it's fine. Code is fine. We have checked the condition, everything. Okay, now let's run it and see what is the output. What we are trying to search. Okay, I have not given your x. What we are trying to search, let's say we are searching 30. Let's say we are searching 30 in it. Okay. Okay, I'll do a break condition here. Okay, so earlier I was not using break condition here, okay, because we were trying to search what 30, which is present at the mid only, right? So initially our low was pointing towards 0, our high was pointing towards this 50, right? That's fourth index, and we have checked the condition that 0 is less than equal to 4, which is the right condition. So we have came here and we have found that mid is equal to this low plus high minus 0.2, that is 0 plus 4 minus 0.2, that is 2 only, right? So we have checked that if array of mid, that array of mid what 30, so 30 is greater than 30. No, this is not true. Else if array of mid is less than x, means 30 is less than x. No, it is also not true. So we'll come to that else condition, and we have it means that mid element is the element that we are searching for, right? So we have printed out as cout element found. And since we have not used the break condition here, so what we are doing, we, again, while loop was like, running infinite number of times. Okay. So if we have found the element, then we'll simply break from that loop. Okay. So this was the code for binary search. I hope it's clear. It was easy. If values of array are not in ascending order, so we should sort it first. Yeah, if it is not in if it is not sorted, then you have to sort it, then only you have to use binary search. Okay, because whatever the conditions we are using now, that if condition, that if array of mid is greater than x or less than x or equal to x, what is the need if the array is not sorted, then we'll not be able to ignore the half part. Because here, what is the logic? That after doing one comparison, we are ignoring the half elements of the array, right? We are ignoring the half elements of the array. Like here, if we have to search 24, if we have to search 24, and if 10 is less than 24, then the element to the right of it will always be less than 10. So there is no point to search on the that left part. So we'll directly ignore the left part and we'll move towards the right part. That is the logic behind binary search. Okay, and that's why it takes so of log in complexity, because every time we divide the array elements by 2. Can we sort the array in descending order? Yes, we can sort in any order. It's up to you that how, like, in which order you want to sort. But when we talk about sorting, then by default it's ascending. Okay, if they'll ask you to sort in descending order, then they'll mention you that okay, you have to sort the array in descending order, or depending upon the question, but by default it's ascending order. Okay, so guys, just let me know that is binary search and is linear search clear to you all or not? Is the logic, is the concept behind these two searching algorithms is clear or not? Yes, clear. Okay, good to hear that it's clear and I was able to explain it to you guys. Here. All right. Okay. Now let's move towards the sorting algorithms. Okay. The very important algorithms in DSA, the sorting algorithms. Although we have shortcuts like STL. If you know STL in if you are using C++ and STL, then you know how to sort it, in just using SORT, and you are able to sort the array and vector, anything you are using. But in interviews, they'll ask you the logic behind that. What is the logic behind this sorting algorithms? So let's see what are the sorting algorithms that we are going to do here. Sorting algorithms are like there are many. We are having many sorting algorithms like insertion, bubble, selection. Many heap sort. Radix sort, count sort, bucket sort. There are so many a number of sorting algorithms. But where we have to use which sorting algorithm efficiently in less time, which is taking less space. So we have to consider everything while we are using any algorithm in our question. Okay. So we'll start from the very. Let's see that what are the classifications first. Okay, we'll see the classifications first. That there are, if there are n number of sorting algorithms, then there could be question, right? That what is the classification, on what basis we should divide the sorting algorithms, right? On what basis we should differentiate one sorting algorithm from other sorting algorithm. Okay, so the first classification is time. Okay, time and space complexity, like these are the two most important topic, very important topic in DSA. So we'll be devoting one full session in these two topics only, like the time space complexity. We'll be giving a whole like 2 hour session on this. So like for right now, just understand that what is time. So time is that how much time your algorithm is taking. Okay, like if you have to work on bigger inputs, and so like in for that bigger inputs, if suppose you are writing a code, if I am writing a code and my code is taking more time than yours, okay, then obviously your code will be accepted, right? Your code will be the optimal one, not mine. Okay, that's what the case of space, that what how much space like is my algorithm taking, how much space is your, if there are two algorithms, then which algorithm is taking less space. Okay, so like it's like these are like very important topics, we'll discuss it later. Okay, the next thing come as stability. Okay, when you have heard like stability, I'll tell you what is this stability. Okay, like suppose uh, like suppose we have you have elements as 4, 2. If in an array you have elements like 2 and 3. Okay, and I am telling you to sort this array, right? So you know how to sort this array, like in any algorithm. Like I'm just telling that if you are sorting this array, then the sorted array will look like this: 1, 2, 2, 3, and then 4, right? This will be the sorted array. So what is stability here? Okay, so as you can see that there are two 2's, right? Here also we have 2. Like I am telling you that this is the first 2. Just for recognizing, I'm just telling that this is the first 2 and this is the second 2, right? So how, like after sorting, like do you know that which 2 is this and which 2 is this? Okay, this might possible that after sorting, because we are using different algorithms, we are playing with the elements, so it might possible that this second 2 will be this and this first 2 will be this. It might possible, right? First and this could be second, right? It might possible. Okay, so what I'm saying. Okay, so what is stability? Stability is like when you are using any sorting algorithm, but the order remains same, right? What is stability? That this should not be the case. If my this 2 is at first position, then this 2 should come first in my sorted array as well. Okay, and this 2 would come in second place in my sorted array as well. Okay, so this is the concept behind stability. Okay, because there are many sorting algorithms where the order changes, right? Where the order changes. So stability is like when you are using any sorting algorithm and the order remains same. When there are duplicate elements in the array, so in the sorted array also their order remains same. So this is the like concept behind sorting stability, right? That it preserves the relative order of elements. Relative order means that with respect to this is at first, and with respect to this 2, this is at second. Okay, so this is the relative order, and stability preserves that relative order in the sorted array. Okay, so that is what is stability. Is it clear? Stability. Guys, is it clear now? Yes, stability. Is there any other searching algorithm? Yes, there are searching algorithms. There are jump search. There are many other searching algorithms also, but like mostly we use like in our whatever the questions we see now, there will be mostly we'll be using that linear search and binary search only. Okay. All right. So this is what stability. Okay. Next thing is like next thing what we can next classification would be uh, what would be recursive or non-recursive. Okay, recursive or non-recursive. Okay, like have you guys learned about recursion? Yes. Okay. Third year students might have learned about recursion and all, right? Second year also, like who have completed the complete, C++ course or anything like that. Okay. So you have idea about recursion and all. Okay. So it would be easy to understand. So recursive or non-recursive means where you are using there are like what we have used in linear search now. We have used the iterative approach, right? So there are two ways to solve a question. First is recursive approach and second is iterative approach. So in sorting algorithms also, there are sorting algorithms where we are using recursion and we are using iterations. Okay. So like recursive, like merge sort, quick sort, these algorithms are using recursive approach, and non-recursive like bubble sort, quick sort, these algorithms are using non-recursive approach. Okay. So these are the classifications. There are all like many classifications, but we'll see it later. So these are the classifications by which we can divide the sorting algorithms. Okay, by which we can differentiate between the sorting algorithms, by which we differentiate between the different sorting algorithms. Okay. So now let's start with the very first sorting algorithm, that is our bubble sort. Okay, I'll be doing it fast. Okay, it's bubble sort. Okay, so let's understand the logic. What is like in every algorithm we are first seeing the logic. Like what is the logic behind doing anything? Okay, so what is the logic in bubble sort? That suppose if we have this element. Okay, I'm not making array, I'm just taking array elements. Okay, 4 5 4 3 2 1. Okay, so suppose this is the array element. Okay, so it's just the our what we think of sorting now, bubble sort is just same. Okay, if we have to sort this element, then what is the first thing come in our mind? That this is the we'll see the adjacent position and we'll swap it, right? We'll see the adjacent position, and if it is not in right position, then we'll swap it. This is the simple logic behind bubble sort. Adjacent position is this 5 and 4. Okay, 5 and 4 is not in the right position. Right position is we have to sort it in ascending order, right? So 5 and 4 is not in right position. So what we'll do, we'll swap it. We'll swap it and do 4 5 3 2 and 1. Okay. Okay. Again, what we'll do, we'll just and we'll move forward. Okay, we'll move forward and we'll see the next adjacent position. 5 and 3 is again in not right position, right? 3 should come first. So what I'll do, I'll just swap it. Okay, and rest elements are same. Like next we'll see the next adjacent position, that is 5 and 2. Now what I'll do, I'll just swap it. Okay, 2 5 and 1. Okay, now again I'll see the next adjacent position, and what I'll do, I'll swap it because that is not in the right position. 1 should come first before 5. Okay, so I'll swap it. Okay, just see what is happening here. Okay, after doing this, like this complete thing now, one thing is for sure, that the maximum element in this array, maximum element was 5, right? So the maximum element has bubbled out to the last. Okay, that's why it's named as like bubble sort. Okay, because the maximum element after each iteration, what happens that the maximum element bubbles out at the last position. Okay, that's why it is bubble sort. Okay, so this is a like first iteration, right? Now just see, is the array sorted now? No, the array is not sorted, right? So what we'll do again, we'll just see that, like again we'll start. Okay, we'll see that is it at right position? No, again it is not at right position. That what we'll do, we'll swap it. Okay, 3 4 2 1 and 5. Okay, again we'll see it. Again we'll move forward. Is it sorted? No, it is also like not in right position. Then we'll again swap it. 3 2 4 1 and 5. Again, we'll say the next position. Okay, it is not sorted. It what it was 2 and what it was 1, right? So it is 1, 4 and 5. Okay, and in the next iteration we'll not check for this 5 because 5 is already sorted, 5 is already at its right position. Okay, so just see that what is happening in the next iteration. The second bigger element was 4, right? 5 was already at bubbled at its last position. The second bigger element 4, now it has been bubbled out at the second last position. Okay, now I'm saying that is it again at its right position? No, it is not at its right position. I'll again swap it 2, 3, 1, 4 and 5, and every time we'll not traverse the whole array, right? We'll just, like, here we have traversed and here we'll traverse n minus, like, because 5 is already sorted now, so we'll traverse one less time. 2, 3, 1. Now this 3, 1, is it sorted? No. 2, again we'll swap it. 2, 1, 3, 4, 5. Now is it sorted? Yeah, is it sorted? Because 4 is already sorted now, so it's sorted now. Okay, so again, now what we'll see, that we'll just a second. So now we'll see that is it at right position? No, one more swap is required. So yeah, so that's how we do the bubble sorting. Okay, we just check for the adjacent position, and if the adjacent position is not at right position, we'll swap, otherwise we'll continue. Okay, so this was the this was the logic behind bubble sort. Okay, this was just the logic behind bubble sort. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, this was my sorted array. Just see one thing. Okay, just try to observe that what is this. Just try to observe that what we have done here. We have 5 elements at first, right? We have 5 elements at first, and we have taken the array element as 5. N is equal to 5 at first. N is equal to 5. So just see that how many passes we have taken to sort the array. Okay, first, second pass, third and fourth pass. Okay, in just 4 pass my array was sorted, and but in this pass we were doing the internal traversal also. For the internal traversal, we are doing the internal traversal, right? So here how many times we have traversed? 4 times, right? 4 times, here 3 times, here 2 times, and here 1 time. Okay, it means that we can generalize a formula for this, right? That how many internal iterations we have to do. So we can generalize a formula for this, and for that what we can do, so this is n minus, like for n iterations what we can do, if we have n iterations, then what we can do, n minus 1 time I am doing the internal iterations, right? Internal traversal I am doing n minus 1 time. Is it clear? Not actually n minus 1, it is n minus, how to delete it? Okay, n minus I times. Okay, what is I? N minus I time I am doing the iterations, because suppose this is the first iterations, right? Then n minus 1, that is 5 minus 1, that is 4, right? For second iteration what I am doing, 5 minus 2, that is 3. For third, 5 minus 3, that is 2. For 5 minus 4, that is 1. Okay, so the internal iterations will be performed n minus 1 times. Okay, n minus 1 times, that is 5 minus 1, 4 times only. Okay, and the internal to internal traversal will be done n minus, because for n iterations I am doing n minus 1 internal iterations, but here the iterations is n minus 1. So what I am doing, n minus 1 minus I, right? This will be my internal iterations, right? So this was the logic, this was the intuition behind the bubble sort, right? This was the complete intuition behind bubble sort. Code is very easy, right? Code is not complex. You will be easily understand, but the thing is that you have to understand the logic behind it. So is the intuition clear to all? Is the intuition behind bubble sort clear to all? I'll code it, very soon. I'll code it fast. Because after coding, it becomes, crystal clear that this was the thing we're using, and after coding. So let's say I was again I'm taking array, taking any random, okay. Let's take 50, 40, 30, 20, and 10. Okay, here n is equal to 5, right? Now, what we'll do, let's create a separate function for bubble sorting, right? Code looks more good when we use functions in our program, right? So what will be passing? Array and that size, right? Rest, what we'll do, we'll create a function bubble sort where we'll be passing array and the size of the array, and that bubble sort function will, sort my array. And now if the array is sorted, then what I'll do, I'll, just print the array elements of that sorted array. Okay. See out array of I, right? Okay. Now what I'll do, let's create that function which we have declared here, that bubble sort. Let's create that function bubble sort. Return type would be void because we are not returning anything, so we'll just do the return type as void. I'm taking array as input, okay, and I'm taking n as input, right? The size. Now what I'm doing, I'm just doing a for loop. I'm just using a for loop for the outer iterations. I have told you that how much time, n minus 1, because the size is n, so the outer passes will be n minus 1. Okay, so I'll initialize I, and the condition will be n minus 1. Okay, I plus plus, and the internal for internal iterations I'm using j, and that j will run from 0 to j less than, I told you the formula, n minus I minus 1. Okay, a plus plus. And now what I will do, okay, for it I is equal to 0, I have used. Now what we have to do, we just have to check the condition. We just have to check the condition, right? That adjacent element, the first element, is greater than or not. Okay, so what we'll do array a plus 1. Okay, we're just checking the adjacent element, the next element, if array of j plus 1, sorry, is less than AR of j, right? Is less than ARR of j. Okay, I am just checking this condition, and I am just checking that is this condition true, and if this condition is true, what does it mean? That array of j is greater than array of j plus 1. Means the first element is greater than the second element. If it is greater, then it is not sorted, right? It is not in right order. Then we have to swap it, because the smaller element, the element present at the smaller index should be less than the element present at the higher index, right? So just we are checking the condition, the adjacent elements, and we are swapping it. Okay, let's create a function swap. And the interesting thing, that in C++, if you are using SWAP swap, then it will swap automatically. Okay, if you are using the correct header file somehow. So what we are doing, we are just swapping array of j and array of j plus 1. That's it, right? We are just swapping it. That's it, and we are done. Okay, let's create a swap function as well for this. Okay, wherein I'll be taking okay, I am just using the basic logic what we do in swapping, that we create a temp variable and we assign it to A, and we assign B to A, right? And we assign temp to B. That's it. This is the logic we use in bubble sort, in swapping, right? So this was the code Very easy code. I have told you the intuition already, that why you use this n minus 1, n minus I minus 1, okay? And when we see the adjacent element, and then we swap it. That's it, okay? Let's save it and let's execute it. Okay. This was array, right? You can see the output now, that the array is sorted, okay? We have taken it in reverse order, right? 50, 40, 30, 20 and 10. But now the array is sorted and it is 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50, okay? The array is sorted. So we have used here bubble sorting to sort this array, right? We have used here bubble sorting to sort the array. So I think like it's easy. The code is easy, and you can understand it very well. So guys, let me know if it's clear. Yes, clear. What is its time complexity? Yeah, in worst case, you know what, Mansi? Actually, I am not discussing about the time and space complexities now, because we have not discussed in this session, as we have started from very scratch. So we have like not discussed this complexities topic here. So for like many students, it would be difficult to understand. So that's why I am just keeping it simple. But yeah, for you, if it is okay, O of n square, yes. Like, because we are using two for loops, right? And we are using n iterations. So in the worst case, it will be O of n square. In the worst case, but in the best case, like if the array is already sorted, and like suppose if you have to sort 10, 20, 30, 40 and 40, 50, that is already sorted. So we'll not go into the inner iterations, right? Outer iterations will be enough for because it's already sorted, na? So the conditions will not be true. What will, in the best case, it will be O of n, but in worst case, it will be O of n square. Okay. All right. Is it clear, everyone? Is bubble sorting clear to everyone? And if you have any doubt, you can ask in the comment section. Clear? Yes. Okay. Okay. All right. And guys, after this session as well, like if you are facing any difficulty, any problem, then you can show your ID once. Yeah, sure, Mansi. Okay. So if you are facing any difficulty while coding now, you can, that's why like for you guys only we have opened the Telegram group. You can like interact there. You can keep your doubts there. Anytime, 24/7 will be there to help you. Is it clear, Mansi? Okay, thanks. All right. Next, move towards the next sorting algorithm. That will be our. We have seen bubble sort. Now we'll see. Second is insertion sort. Okay. Now we'll be seeing insertion sort. This will be our second sorting algorithm. So as we have seen now, because we have seen bubble sort, there are insertion sort, there are next we'll be seeing the selection sort. So there are many sorting algorithms, and what we do, we'll like later when we'll be discussing the complexities and all now, then we'll tell you that in which case you have to use which sorting algorithm. In which case which sorting algorithm would be efficient, that time we'll tell you. But for that, just understand the logic behind the different sorting algorithms, okay? So what is the, let me take array elements, okay? Let me take any array elements, like suppose 4, 7, 3, 8, 1, okay, anything I'm taking. Let's suppose this is the array element, okay? Gap in it. Okay, so I have taken the elements as 4, 7, 3, 8 and 1. Now I'll be applying insertion sort in it, and let's see that what is the intuition behind that this insertion sort. Okay, so what we do in insertion sort, we assume that, like, this is suppose this is my array, right? Suppose this is my array. So what we do, that we take the first element as sorted one. Okay, we consider the first element as sorted one and the rest element as unsorted, right? This part is sorted and this part is unsorted. Okay, this is the intuition. Okay, because this is the one element, right? And one element is already sorted in itself. Okay, so we consider first element as sorted and the next as unsorted. Okay, now what we do, we just pick one element. There will be many elements to this side, right? So we'll pick one element from this unsorted array, and what we'll do, we'll try to insert, because this is insertion, right? So what we'll do, we'll pick one element from unsorted array and we'll try to pick that element into the sorted array, but at its right position. Okay, not anywhere, because we have to make sure that this part is sorted, right? So this part should remain sorted after inserting any element in it. Okay, so what we are doing, we are considering first part as sorted and the rest part as unsorted. What we are doing, we are picking one element from unsorted part and we are inserting it into sorted part. We are like sorted part, so that the array, like sorted part remains sorted. Okay, after insertion also. This is the intuition behind insertion sort. Let's see here what is this. So we have taken this 4, 7, 3, 8 and 1, right? So what we are doing, let me write here as well the logic we'll be using so that it won't be confusing. What we are doing, like in simple language, we are picking one element from the unsorted part, and inserting it into the sorted part at its right position. Okay, right position is that the array should remain sorted. Okay, so we are just doing this. So this is the logic behind, this is the thing that we are going to do in the insertion sort. Okay, let's see here that this is 4, 7, 3, 8, 1. Okay, I am telling that this 4 is already sorted. Okay, I am saying that this 4 is already sorted and this is unsorted. Okay, so 4 is sorted because it is one element, so it's sorted already. Alright, so what I am doing, I am taking this 7 now. Okay, I am taking this 7 now and I am storing it into any variable. Okay, like any temporary variable. Let's take it temp. So I am doing what, temp is equal to, I am doing temp is equal to 7, right? What I am doing, I am doing temp is equal to 7. So now my array will be like this, right? Because I have used this temp and here the place will be blank and this 3, 8 and 1, right? Now I'll be checking in the sorted part. Okay, this was the sorted, right? So now I'll be checking that 4 is less than 7. Okay, I'll be checking the condition, na? Right? That if this 7 is greater than 4 or less than 4. Okay, so I'm saying that 4, like this is greater than 7. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll simply insert it here. Okay, 4, 7 and 3, 8, 1. Okay, I'll keep it here. Now this part is sorted. Now again I'll take this temp. So now my temp will be not 7. Now my temp will be 3. Okay. So now what I'm checking that. So now my array will be like this: 4, 7, 3. I have taken into temp and 8 and 1. Okay. So what I'm doing, I'm checking 7 is less than 3 or greater than 3. 3 is less than 7, right? So what I'll do, I'll just simply shift 7 to the position where 3 was placed, right? I just simply do that. Okay. Now again I'll check that 4 is like 3 is less than 4, right? So what I'll do, I'll place 4 now at this position. 4, 7, 8, 1. Okay. Now this place is vacant and now we have no elements left. So now we'll place 3 here. Okay. So now my this part is sorted. Now 8. Now check 8. 8 is like at its right position, right? Now temp will be 8, right? So now 8 at its right position. So we'll simply do that. I'm not explaining that part again. 3, 4, 7, and 8. Now this part is sorted. Okay. And now this part is unsorted. Now only this element is unsorted. So what we'll do? 1, we'll again check the same thing. We'll again keep this 1 in temp. And what we'll do? We'll check that 1 is like less than 8. Then we'll move 8 here. 3, 4, 7. We'll move 8 here. Okay. Then again 7 here. Then 4 here. Then 3 here. And then at the last, what we'll do? We'll place 1 at the right position. Okay. So this was the intuition behind 1, 3, 4, 7, 8. So this was the intuition behind the insertion sort, and that's how we'll get the sorted array. Okay, this was the simple intuition behind that. We are just taking one element from unsorted array and we are checking its right position in the sorted array, and when we are finding the right position, we are just inserting that element at that right position. That's it. Okay, this is the intuition. So and that's how we get the sorted array. Okay, this is clear, right? Intuition is clear. Everyone? Do I need to repeat or is it clear? Guys, respond. Okay, clear? Clear? Yes, clear? Okay. Alright. So I don't need to repeat. Okay. So this is the intuition. So what we are doing here, I'll just write a pseudo code here for your reference. I'll just write a pseudo code here. What I'll be doing, okay, I'll be using one for loop, okay, that I'll be traversing from 1, right? Not 0. Because why? Because I'm considering this as sorted already, okay? So if this was my index, that's 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'll start from 1th position, right? First index, not 0, because I have already considered 0 as sorted, right? So we will not start from 0th position. Now what I'll do, I'll start from that. I'll traverse a loop from for I is equal to 1 to n. And what I'll do, that what I'm doing, that I am just taking that element in the temp variable, okay? You can name it anything, I am just taking temp. So what I'm doing, I am taking that element into temp, okay? Now what I am doing, I am taking another variable, okay? Why this variable? To check in the right part, okay? We are taking elements from this right part and we are checking in the left part, okay? So we that's why we are checking that we are using a variable j, okay? And now we'll be using one condition that while j is greater than equal to 0, okay? Because every time we'll be decrementing j. So there will be one time where j will be less than 0, that is -1, -2. So we don't have to go at that position because the indexing is 0 based only, right? So we have to traverse it, we have to come only to the 0th index. So we'll traverse the loop, and with this I'll check one more condition, that if the array of j, right? If array of j is greater than this temp, right? I have taken this element temp, and now I am now 1 second. I'll explain this to you. What I'll do, if this condition is true, then what I'll do, array of j plus 1 is equal to array of j. It's simple, right? And what I'll do, I'll decrement j, right? And in the last, what I'll do, because I have decremented j, so at the last I have to put this also, okay? Now let's see that this is the pseudocode. This is the code, okay, that we'll be using for insertion sort. So what I am doing temp is equal to array of I, j is equal to I minus 1, means this 0. Let's take this here as well, okay? So starting temp is equal to 7 and j is equal to I minus 1, that is 4, okay? j is equal to I minus 1, that is 4 here. So what I'm checking, while j is greater than equal to 0, j is greater than equal to 0 means this. 0 is greater than equal to 0, yes, true. And array of j is greater than 10. Array of j is what? 4 4 is greater than 10. No, it is not greater, na? Because 4 is already like 4 is smaller than, so this code will not execute in this case. Okay, so what we'll do, simply array of j plus 1, like this code will not execute. Okay, again what we'll do, we'll check for 3, right? We'll check for 3, we'll store 3 in temp. We'll do the same thing, right? Because now the array is this sorted, 4 and 7. So what we are doing, we are taking elements this left to right, right? We are taking elements left to right, and we are checking from right to left. This is the simple thing, you know. Now I think it would be clear. We are checking right to left. Okay, we are checking, we are matching this 3 with first this, then this, and then when j is minus 1, then we'll stop. Okay, because we don't have to check for j minus 1. And what we'll simply do, we'll simply in the last, what we'll do, if we have found the right position, then we'll just in the last, when the array is like at the last, when j is 0, then what we'll do, when we have found the right position, we'll at the last we'll put temp in that position, right, at the right position. All right, and every time we are decrementing j, okay, because we are moving from right to left. Okay, so I think this is clear. Let me show you in code. I think it would be more clear. Every time I have to write this. Guys, if any doubt, you can ask in the comment section. Okay, all right. In main, let's take an array. Take an element as 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. And what I'm doing, int n is equal to, again the size is 5. Let's create a function, insertion sort, and then I'm passing array and n. That's it. And when it is sorted, then I'm just printing the array elements. I 0, I less than n, I plus plus. And we'll simply see out array of I. Okay. Okay. All right. Now let's create this insertion sort function. So void, because again the return type is void, right? Because we are not returning anything from here. Insertion sort, I am taking array as input. I am taking n as input. And now what I am doing, I am just doing the same logic, right? I have told you the code that what we have to do. We'll start from 1. I is equal to 1, I less than n, I plus plus. We will start from 1. And what we'll do, we'll simply temp variable, and there we'll be storing array of I, right? Array of 1, we have stored there temp, and then I'm taking a pointer j is equal to I minus 1. We will be going from this right to left. Now I'm taking the condition that now I am checking the condition that while k is greater than equal to 0 and this array of j, okay, is it greater than 10? If it is greater than 10, then what I'll do, I'll simply array of j plus 1, I'll simply insert it at right position. Okay, and now I have to decrement j also, right? I have to decrement j also. And now what I'll do, at the last I have to do this, because every time we are decrementing j, na, so we have to keep this just try to dry run your code. If you are having difficulty to understand it, just dry run your code once, and let's see that what are the changes you are getting when you are commenting this statement, when you are commenting any one of the line. So just try to execute it. That's how we learn code, right? That's why like you don't have to remember the code because there are so many algorithms and everything. You cannot remember everything. Okay, you have to understand the intuition and logic behind everything. I think we are good to go, and we have implemented the insertion sort. And let's see. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I have taken. I am getting 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, okay. I have done some mistake anywhere, somewhere. Guys, do let me know if you can find my mistake. Okay, here I think. Okay, because array of j plus 1 is equal to not temp, I have to do it array of j, right? Right. It's not temp, right? We have to keep array of j. Okay. All right. Just see, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, the array is sorted now using insertion sort, right? This was the simple, code. Just run your code because in just one session, in just one lecture, you will not be able to understand if you are having any difficulty. Just run your code once by your own using pen and paper, and just let's see that try to observe that what are the changes if you are not using any one line, if you are not using any one condition, then what will be the changes. Okay, then you will understand better. Is it clear, everyone? Up to now, is it clear? I think it's more of theoretical part. I hope you guys are not bored. Yes, clear, clear, clear. Oh, just tell me one thing, guys. Like, if you're using C++, then do you know about STL? Like, you're using STL, functions, STL, like the shortcuts we use in STL. Do let me know, guys, because STL is like very important in C++. Okay, STL makes our code very easy, very No, yes, Rohit, no, Sakshi, no, Arpita is using, okay. Rest, what about others? Respond, guys. No, 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 no. Okay, okay. Means you guys are not using STL. Yes. Alright. So guys, if you want to learn STL in C++, you can drop your suggestions, or you can, drop it in Telegram group that yes, we want a STL session. So that we'll be, planning a STL session for you guys, because STL is very important, right? It will make your code very simpler, very, easy. You should use STL in your code, okay? You should know the logic first, but after that you can use like STL direct shortcuts. Do you want to learn STL, guys? How it would be if we create a session for STL, separate session on some other day? Yes, of course. What about others? Yes, I want to learn. Okay. What about others, guys? Do let me know. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so if majority of you will, just drop this thing in Telegram group, any one of you that you want to learn STL, so that we'll, plan a separate session for STL, because STL is very important, and it will take like if we'll do in, short, and we'll discuss only the important things, then only it will take 2 hours, 2 hour session, okay? So just drop it on Telegram, so that we'll be planning a separate session for you guys. Okay. Let's move ahead. Let's move ahead, and now let's start with the third sorting algorithm. That is selection sort. Okay. selection sort. Many of us are confused. Like I was so very confused when I was in my when I was learning this sorting algorithms and all. Then like for so many days it was not clear to me that what is the difference between the insertion and this selection sort, because both look similar, right? So I didn't get the thing that what is the intuition, like we can use insertion sort, the same logic we are using in selection sort as well. But now I got the difference. Okay, so now let me tell you. So what is the intuition behind selection sort? Okay, let's take element again. Let's take array element as 4, 8, 12, 1, 2. Okay. Now this is my array element, right? We have to sort these elements now. So in selection sort, what we do, just forget about the two sorting algorithms. Now just focus on selection sort. So what we do in selection sort, we create a min index here. Okay, we create a min index. Like here the minimum, like here the indexing is 0 based, so it will be like 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so what we do, we consider the first element as min index, right? We consider the first element as min index, that is 0. Okay, we consider the first element as min index, and now for the rest elements we check the smaller elements. Okay, what I'm saying, that I have considered first element as, I have considered the first index as min index, right? And now I am checking at n minus 1 places. Okay, at this much of places, that, and I'm selecting the smaller element. Okay, what we do in insertion sort, we are inserting the elements, right? But here what we are doing, we are selecting the elements. Okay, first element I considered it as a minimum, as index, minimum index, and what I am doing, I am checking the rest elements. I am finding the minimum element in the rest element. Okay, smaller element. So 8, 12, 1 and 2, which one is the minimum element? 1, right? This is the minimum element, right? So now what I am doing, so I am checking the minimum element, and I am just simply, what I am doing, I am just swapping these two positions. Okay, this minimum element and this 4. Like initially what we have considered minimum index as 0. Now we have found in the rest element that which is the smaller. Okay, so 1 is the smaller. So what we'll do, we'll just swap with the the initial considered minimum index, and we'll just update the our minimum index. That's it. Nothing we have to do. Okay. Let me write the intuition. What we are doing, that checking at n minus 1 positions and selecting. Okay, here we are selecting because it's selection sort, right? And selecting the smaller element and updating the minimum index. Okay, and updating the minimum index. Okay, and just simply swapping and then swapping. That's it. This is the simple logic behind the selection sort. Nothing more we have to do. Okay, just excuse the spelling mistakes if somewhere. Okay, I have done. Oh, this is smaller. Okay, leave it. Okay, checking at n minus 1 positions and selecting the smaller element and updating min index and then swapping. Okay, like here we have seen that initially I have told that min is equal to 0. Okay, initially I am saying that min is equal to 0. And now we have found at that 1 is the minimum element, a smaller element. So what I am doing, I am just swapping it. So now my array will look like 1, 8, 12, 4 and 2. Okay. I am just swapping the position with the smaller element. That's it. Okay. Now my this array is sorted. Okay. Now I'll consider this as sorted and this is unsorted. Okay. So now again initially my min was 0. Now my min is 1, right? Now my min is 1. Because I'm done with the 0th part, now my min is 1. Now what I'll do, I'll check the minimum at this rest element. Okay, what is the minimum? 2, right? 2 is the minimum. So what I'll do, I'll just simply swap. I'll just simply swap. Okay, you know, algorithms are doing the same thing but with different logic, right? I'm just swapping. Okay, so this will be this would look like 1, 2, 12, 4 and 8, right? Right. So now my this much array is sorted. Now my min is 3. Okay, now my min is 3, sorry, 2, right? 0 based indexing, right? So min is 2. Now what I'm doing, I am searching in this part, which is the minimum 4. Okay, so I'll be swapping, updating my min index and swapping. That's it. So what it would look like? 1, 2, 4, 12 and 8. Okay, now my this much part is sorted. Now my min is 3. Now my min is 3. Now my min is 3. Okay, now again I'll check the smallest. So this one is the only smallest, and okay, so I'll swap it again. I'll swap it again. 1, 2, 4, 8 and 12. Okay, is it sorted now? Yes, it is sorted now. Okay, 1, 2, 4, 8 and 12. It is sorted, right? So intuition is very simple, right? Logic is very simple. We are just, you know, considering one element as minimum index, then we are checking in the, you know, except that element. In the next rest elements, we are checking the smaller element, and if there is a smaller element, then what we are doing, we are just updating our minimum index, and we are just swapping it with the minimum value. That's it. Okay, this is the simple logic. Okay, let me write the pseudocode. What will be the pseudocode for it? Okay, so just see that how many iterations we have done. If we have 5 element now, so if we have 5 element, so this was the first time I have iterated, right? This was the second time, third, and when we have reached here now 4 times, at the 4th time when we have reached here, then we are left with only one element. Then there is no need to check, right? Because if only one element is left and there is no element at the right of it, so there is no need to iterate it like again for this. Okay, so we'll iterate only for like n minus 1 times. If there are n elements now, we'll check only for n minus 1 times. We'll iterate only for n minus 1 times, because the last element the last element left will already be at its right position. Okay, we will not iterate all the n times. We'll iterate n minus 1 times only. Okay, so what I'm doing, I am just iterating to n minus 1 positions, and like what I'm doing, I am doing that I'm setting a min index that is equal to I. Okay, I'm considering the I as min index, and now in the next, okay, like in the next I plus 1. Okay, because if my I is here, then I am checking at the I plus 1 to n position, right? I'm not considering I, or I'm not considering the left part of I, right? I'm just seeing the next part of I. So I'm doing j is equal to I plus 1 to n, because I am searching in the whole array from I plus 1 to the last index, right? And I'm just checking the condition that if array of min index, right? If array of min index, that I have considered one element, if array of min index is greater than array of j, means array of j has now become smaller. Okay, so now we should update our min index with j now, because j is smaller, right? Otherwise, if this condition is not true, then also it's like we don't have to do anything. We'll simply swap array of I and what is that? Array, right? An array of min index. we'll just simply swap it. That's it. Okay. If this condition is true, it means that if there are smaller elements to the right of that element, then we'll change the min index and we'll swap. And if there is no element, then we'll swap the same element. Like if suppose if there is no element smaller than if the element present at right to it, then we'll simply swap. Like suppose 1 with 1, 2 with 2. That won't make any change, right? So we'll simply, or you can keep a check here also, but no need. Okay. So this was the simple code for this selection sort. It's a very easy code, right? It's just a thing that we are just understanding the intuition and we are just writing it into code. That's it. Is it clear? Is it clear? मैम क्या टेलीग्राम में ग्रुप का नाम बता दो मुझे, लिंक किसने शेयर? Okay, Shranshu has sent you the link. Okay, it's clear, right? It's clear. Okay, all right. Kiran, all right. So if it is clear, then just quickly let's code it once. Okay, if it is clear, then. When you are coding on the different online platforms and like when you're using different algorithms, different things, then you have to use different header files also. Okay, but just we can use one standard library for all header files, that is #include. I have used somewhere, right? I'll bits std c++.h. Okay, #include this one standard header file. Now if you're using this, then you don't need to include anything. Okay, like if you're using any math function and if you have to use power, if you have to find a square root, okay, then you are using POW or you are using SQRT for finding the square root. And if you're not using the correct header file, if you forget to include the math.h header file, then it would be an error. Okay, it will show you that this is not defined, or it's not in scope, or header file not included, something like that you will get. Okay. So just in online coding platforms when we are doing, so we just use one header file, that is bits std c++.h, and this includes all the header files, and it won't give you any error whatever you use. Okay. So int main, here I'm not using any standard algo, so that's why IOHTML would work, because I'm just using CNC out. Okay. Int main, let's take array. What was the array? Let's take the same array. Okay. It was 4, 8, 12, 1, 2. Okay, 4, 8, 12, 1, 2. 4, 8, 12, 1, 2. Here the size is 5. Let's create a function for this as well. Let's name it as selection sort. Array, and passing n also. And when the array is sorted, I am just printing the value. Okay. The out array of I. That's it. Okay. Let's create function. Again, void selection sort. But I'm taking array and size as input. And now what I'm doing, I am traversing a loop from 0 to n minus 1, right? I less than n minus 1, not n minus 1, I plus plus. What I am doing, I am creating a, like I am, min index, and initially my min index will be 1, I, right? Every time I am initially initializing it with I. And again, I am checking within the rest elements for int j is equal to I plus 1, right? I plus 1, j less than n j plus plus, right? I am checking in the rest elements, and I am taking a condition that if array of min index is it greater than array of j? It means that min index remains no longer minimum, right? Now j has become minimum. So what I'll do? Min index is equal to j. I'll update my min index with j. That's it. Okay. And now when I am, like done with this for loop, when I have found the, when I have found the minimum index, the minimum index, what I'll do? I'll now simply swap. Simply swap what? My array of I and what? Array of minimum index. Because there only I have found the, because in minimum index I am updating the index of the minimum element that I have found. Okay. So if we have found the minimum element, then what we'll do? We'll simply swap it with the current element. Okay. That's it. That's it. I think we are good to go because this was the like code for it. I think I have included everything. Let's see if it is working fine or not. All right. So we have found the is 1, 2, 4, 8, and 12. Okay. So we have sorted the array using selection sort as well. Okay. So this was the like very simple code. I hope it's clear. And if it's not clear, then do let me know. Guys, respond. Is it clear or not? Clear? Clear? Clear. Okay, clear. All right, clear. Yes. Okay. So since we have we are left with some time, like 18 minutes. So what we can do? Let's take one question, right? Like in the previous session, let's see one question. We have we have given you 3 questions, I guess. Let me check and let's do one question. Is it fine, guys? If we'll take one question? Because it's, I think like today's session was completely like theoretical, right? Is it fine if we take one question? Everyone? Okay. Yes, ma'am. Respond, everyone. If you want, then only we'll take question. Otherwise, we'll end the session. If you are bored. Yes. Okay. Okay, then let's take one question. Okay, it's interesting. I hope it's easy also. Okay, but let's see. If you have joined the Telegram group, then you can see the questions, right? Then you can see the questions. It's there only. I have pinned the questions also. Okay, so you can see the questions there. So let's do the first question. Okay, find the array of duplicate elements in an array 1, 2, 1, 5, 5, 6, 1, 5. Okay. Okay. So the question is like, we are given an array. Okay. It's easy, right? Like there are different approaches to solve this. If you know mapping and all, then like since you don't know like STL and you're not working with STL right now, so I'll not be using mapping and all. I will not be giving you the optimal solution, but yeah, I'll give you the brute force solution. So what is the 1, 2, 3, 1, 5, 5, 6? This array we are given. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 1, 5, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 1, 5, 5, 6. If I'm not wrong, then this is the array. 1, 5, 5, 6. All right. So what we have to do? So we have to find the elements which are repeated, right? That is like we can see 1 is repeated here, 5 is repeated here. So we have to print, or you can store as well. Let's just print. You have to print 1 and 5, right? Because these two elements are getting repeated every time. So if you can think of the logic, then it's like, very good, congratulations. But if you cannot, then just let me tell you what can be the logic, the brute force logic. Okay, So that will traverse the loop, right? Array, it will be like 0, 1, 2, 3. The indexing will be like this, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So what we'll do, we'll traverse through the loop for I is equal to, we'll traverse through the loop 0 to, let's say it's n, right? So we'll traverse through the loop, and what we'll do, we'll again like, we'll keep one element, like we'll maintain int x is equal to, let's say, array of I, okay? I'll be storing array of I into a variable that is x. And now what I'll do, I'll be checking in the next elements, right? Like if I have stored this one into x, and now I'll be checking in this to the right of it, okay? To I plus 1, like for j is equal to I plus 1 to n, for j is equal to I plus 1 to n, I'll be checking that if this element, we have stored array of I into x now. So what I'll do, we'll check that if array of j, I'll be checking to the rest elements that if that is equal to x, if that is equal to x, if that is equal to x, then what we'll do, we'll simply see out, we'll see out that element, or if you want to store in a separate array, you can do that also. Let's make it simple, see out that element, okay? Array of, just see out that array of I, okay? So this was simple code. Just add enter here, okay? So this was the like logic, okay? Like see, if I have stored x in 1, okay? Now I am checking into it from I plus 1, that is from 1 to 7 I am checking, I am traversing a loop again, I'm doing a loop again, I am checking that if this array of I, that is if 1 is equal to any of the element, so when we are traversing 2 not equal, 3 not equal, okay, again we have found that 1 is equal to 1, okay? So we have found that array of j is equal to x, this condition is true, we'll simply see out array of I, that is we'll simply see out 1, okay? Again I'll traverse like I, you can use break here also, okay? You'll just break the condition when you have found the element, okay? Now again my I is 1, right? Now again I'm starting from here, now I'll be checking to the right of 2, right? And I'll be checking if 2 is equal to, any element is equal to 2. No, any element is not equal to 2. Okay, so my now I is 3. Now I'll be checking from this 4 elements. 3, no element is equal to 3. Okay, so now my I is 4. So now I'll be checking here. No, okay, no element is equal to 1. Right. So now my I is at 5. So now I'll be checking that is 5, if any of the element is equal to 5. Yes, 5 is equal to 5. Okay, so we'll see out 5. Now again my I is at 5. Again I'll be checking is 6 is equal to 5. No, 6 is not equal to 5. So we'll simply now my I is 6, and now there is nothing at the right of it. Okay, so now the array is traversed, and we have got the 2 elements as output, 1 and 5. So this was the simple and brute force logic to solve this question. Or else if you have concept for mapping and all, then you can find its frequency and you can answer this question from there also. Okay, is it clear? Is the logic for this question clear to everyone? So I have told you the logic, and just try to code it. Okay, I won't be like, this is very easy, right? You will be able to code it. So just code it, and if you are facing any difficulty, then you can drop your doubts, drop your questions, any queries in the Telegram group. We'll be viewing your questions. We'll try to answer your questions, and like any student who are willing to answer, they can interact there. So I think that's it. We are done with today's session. Just practice whatever we have studied till now. Just practice all the questions. Go to GFG site. There are questions on selection sort, searching and sorting, linear binary search, and different sorting algorithms. Just practice questions there, or else we'll be sharing the link to those questions in the Telegram group, and just try to solve those questions. And if you face any difficulty, then do let us know. Thank you everyone for joining the session, for giving your time here. So hope to see you in the next session. Till then, eat, sleep, code and repeat. Bye bye everyone. Now you can leave the session. If you have doubt, you can ask, or else you can leave the session. Thank you everyone.